Roboute Guilliman, Lord Commander of the Imperium, walked through the corridors of the Arx Angelicum, thinking back to the last time he had walked through the corridors of the Blood Angels' fortress monastery on Baal. The once grand halls and corridors now devastated by the attacks of High Fleet Leviathan. Not one corner of the mighty fortress seemed undamaged by war. A grim analogy for the Imperium as a whole, thought Guilliman, as he finally rounded the corridor and found who he had been searching for. Dante, chapter master of the Blood Angels, was just finishing what looked like a rather intense discussion between himself and Gabriel Seth, chapter master of the Flesh Terrors. Upon Guilliman's approach, Seth broke off his discussion with Dante as the two chapter masters noticed Guilliman approaching them. Seth did not wait for Guilliman to reach the discussion before Seth had turned and walked away from Dante back down the corridor. Guilliman paused and remembered back to the last time he had to speak to a chapter master of the Flesh Terrors, cold anger seething in his thoughts, and Guilliman concluded that he was in no mood to have a discussion with the Flesh Terrors chapter master and let Seth leave without comment. Dante turned to address Guilliman as he walked up to where Dante was standing. Lord Guilliman, what do I owe this honour? Walk with me, Dante. I have a request to ask of you. Of course, Lord Guilliman. Anything that you require. The two of them began walking down the corridor back towards the central chambers of the Blood Angels' fortress monastery. After a few moments, Guilliman broke the silence between them. How goes the integration of your new Primaris brothers, Dante? Well, Lord Guilliman, there were some doubts from a select few. Dante tilted his head behind him slightly as he spoke, about the Primaris Marines' compatibility with the regular Astartes, but as of now, all chapters of the Blood have accepted their new brothers. Guilliman accepted the words with a nod, and the two continued walking in silence for a few moments before Guilliman spoke. Dante, I have a request of you. If it is possible, I wish to pay my respects to my brother while I am here. Lord Guilliman, do you mean... Yes, Dante, if that is possible. Of course, Lord Guilliman. I shall arrange a squad to meet us at the chamber. Thank you, Dante. The two of them walked through the depths of the fortress monastery until they reached the giant golden doors of the golden sarcophagus chamber. Parading over side of the corridor leading up to the giant golden doors were 20 Blood Angels warriors of the First Company, heralding Guilliman and Dante as they approached the glittering golden doors. Guilliman stopped a few meters away as Dante walked up to a panel on the left side of the corridor and placed his palm against the touch sensor. As he removed his hand, the giant golden doors creaked and opened. As they did, the corridor before them was bathed in a golden, radiant light. Once the doors had opened in full, Guilliman and Dante stepped inside. Guilliman paused as he gazed upon the faint spherical chamber, the carvings of the Blood Angels' Legion history engraved upon its walls. The grandeur of the chamber room reminded Guilliman slightly painfully of his own tomb back on the crag, before Yvrain and Cor had risen him from death to fight once more. Guilliman's thoughts returned to the present as he beheld what was in the centre of the great chamber room, the golden sarcophagus himself. An ever-shifting bubble of molten gold inside a stasis field that kept the molten gold ever flowing, so that what would be inside the coffin was forever preserved. The last resting place in the tomb of the great angel, his brother Sanguinius. Dante bowed and sunk to his knees as he paid his deference to the sarcophagus of his gene father. After a few moments, Dante raised himself up and turned to Guilliman. Guilliman spoke softly to Dante. Thank you, Dante. I wish to be alone to pay my respects in full. Of course, Lord Guilliman. I shall be waiting outside. Vox me when you wish to leave. Guilliman stood in silence as Dante left the chamber and the golden doors closed once more, leaving Guilliman alone in the sarcophagus chamber with his brother's tomb. Guilliman approached and watched the molten gold ever flowing. As it flowed, Guilliman got glimpses of the golden armour and hints of white feathers beneath the melting, bubbling gold. After a few minutes of silence, Guilliman finally spoke aloud. I miss you, brother. I wish you were here with me now. I could use your guidance and friendship now more than ever, brother. This is not the Imperium either of us knew. It is a gallery of cruelty and superstition, and it is hard for me to lead it all alone. During the times of the ruin storm, we all believed the Imperium had fallen and our father slain. I created the Imperium Secundus to be a continuation of our father's dream. But when I did not place myself upon its throne. I did not want to reek of the arrogance, and I did not want or seek the title. And the lion and myself agreed that it was only you, brother, only you who were strong enough to lead us, to be regent of us all. Guilliman laughed and chuckled to himself. And now, I am regent of the Imperium on all but name, and this time I do not have you or any of our brothers to aid me. This time I am truly, truly alone. Guilliman looked down again at the flowing orb of gold, and he allowed some of his emotions he kept repressed to rise up in his heart. I have often wondered, brother, about your visions, and I wonder if you foresaw all of this, if that was why you were so willing to embrace your death at the hands of Horus. Was it to escape what you knew the Imperium would become? Perhaps it would have been better for all of us to burn in the fires of Horus's ambition than live to see this, as we desperately fight to keep the embers of what we dreamed of alive, as all around us our enemies seek to destroy everything we have left. Perhaps, brother, it would have been better if we had all joined you in death back then, so that, as Guilliman said those words, the molten gold parted, and Guilliman paused as he saw, for the first time since the destruction of Davin, he saw his brother's face, just for the briefest moment. His angelic features and a look of quiet serenity etched onto his brother's face. As Guilliman saw the face of the angel, all of the pain and doubt etched from his mind. Guilliman smiled a sad smile and spoke once again. No. Even if you had foreseen this, you would never have submitted to despair. You were always the most hopeful of us all, brother, and I know you would disapprove of my negative thinking even now, and that you would remind me there is always hope, even in the darkest of times. The radiant light at the centre of the chamber seemed to glow brighter at Guilliman's words. Even if you had foreseen what the Imperium has become, you would have never accepted your death unless you knew that the Imperium would endure, that humanity would endure, and that I could bear this burden, even if I must bear it alone. The molten gold seemed to bubble and swallow the angel's body in full as Guilliman watched. I thank you, brother. I thank you for all that you did for the Imperium during your lifetime, and I thank you for the example that you set, that your sons still follow even to this day. Guilliman blink-clicks his vox link to Dante, and Dante blink-clicks his acknowledgement back. As Guilliman turns and walks away, but before he gets to the door he stops. I do not believe that